Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Pops with the Adams Family Gaming. I just got home from work. I want to go over the article that Play New World dropped earlier today whenever I was at work. If you find the information in this video helpful, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you know whenever we post new content about MMOs, survival games, and RPGs. And with that, let's get into it. All right, we have the Hive of the Gorgons raid deep dive. So we're basically going to be getting into what everything is with the new 10-man raid. One of the most exciting new features coming is our first ever 10-player raid, the Hive of Gorgons. After defeating Medusa and New Olympus, players will learn of a new threat. Gorgons have risen and they're raising an army of the Hercyne. To stop them, you'll have to assemble a team of powerful players, enter the Hive, and navigate the gauntlet of challenging puzzles and epic boss battles. Get an inside look into the Hive of Gorgons before it releases on October 15th alongside New World Aeternum, the pinnacle of in-game PvE content. So this is basically what they're saying is going to hold over the law, like the main end game stuff for PvE. When it comes to end game PvE content in New World Aeternum, this raid is the pinnacle. It's definitely a step above the mutators, and even though it's similar to the sandworm trial, there are more complex mechanics. Our main goal is to layer together a lot of familiar mechanics while raising the bar for both difficulty and rewards. We wanted to make sure the effort is worth the time, so we've included some of the strongest possible gear and increased the maximum gear score to 725. We even added 3 powerful new perks, one for weapons, one for armor, and one for accessories, exclusive to the Hive of Gorgons raid. We didn't want to leave the crafting totally out of the loop. The Hive of Gorgons raid drops a special new crafting material that players can use to craft 725 gear score equipment. There's some prep work though, so its vast magical power doesn't overwhelm the materials, plus one more very rare type of crafting item that will remain a secret for now. So I mean, that's good news because I mean it still pretty much requires you to complete the raid. I say good news, but I think there should be maybe an overworld equivalent or something to help you get to that 725 score besides doing raids, you know, because regardless if you have to either obtain it from the raid or the actual material that you'll be getting, it's still raid exclusive. So maybe they'll release some other way to get to the maximum. But let's continue on with so we got epic encounters. We expanded our 10-player content to a longer form raid to bring players something special. When developing content this large, there has to be a solid foundation. So we documented exclusively before jumping into production. Our philosophy was actually to keep things simple rather than overcomplicated. We think about a few things when designing raid bosses. Responsibilities for players beyond just hitting the boss to help each other and feel like a team. Wholly new mechanics that challenge players in ways they haven't experienced before. Moments of real spectacle where we want players to appreciate these unique and epic counters. Ichinda, I think that's how you pronounce that, is our biggest boss to date. With more verticality than any other encounter, she'll stomp and thrash around while reshaping the arena, which can both be an opportunity and a hazard. The second boss, Typhon, is the ferocious guardian of a massive elevated bridge. He'll unleash thorny traps for intruders and ravenously devour all who attempts to cross. The raid's climax against the Broodmother shows Medusa in her final form, grotesquely mutated, commanding the spread of toxic spores and hatching a horde of Hercyne spawn. Oh, so this is mutated Medusa then. Right here, yeah. Mutated, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So mutated Medusa. From Blockout to Roman Bath. Elysian Wilds left us with a certain curiosity about Medusa and her plot to bring the Hercyne to power. The desire to expand on her story helped inspire the Hive of Gorgons. We were fortunate to identify the types of areas we wanted to create early in development cycle. A desert canyon, a Roman bath, and an ancient tomb. For each, we got some wonderful concept art, which really helped us create a blockout that was very close to the shipped product. It is easy to get lost in complexity when blocking or using simple shapes to design a rough draft of the level in a level this large. Raid chapters. To keep the pacing crisp and gameplay varied, we decided there would be 3 chapters to the raid. Every chapter would have a section of enemies, a puzzle or action sequence, and a boss. Following this formula, we were able to focus on each action sequence or puzzle without it bleeding into something else. The action sequences presented their own challenges and went through multiple iterations of playtesting and development. So this is going to be one of the little citadels that they were talking about. The main difference between our original design document and the final version were more iterative, I don't know how to pronounce that, than sweeping changes. One feature we added was teleporting players who joined late to the most recent boss. Immediately making progress is far more fun than running through cleared sections. A lot of MMOs need to actually do that. I know in ESO, if you had to replace a player that got DC'd or whatever, and then it queued up the next available player, then you'd have to wait for them to run all the way through the entire dungeon. So that's pretty cool that they'll let you pretty much teleport right almost to where the party is. A big thanks to our internal play test experts. The group was electric when we finished the raid for the first time. Everyone's cheers, pats on the back, and laughs made all of the many wipes worth it, as any raid should. Player progression. This raid will be the next step in furthering progression on overall equipment power. From the original main story quest to Brimstone Sands, Elysian Wilds, and now the revamped Cutlass Keys Zone, we've continued to create content bands for players to explore as phases of their experience on Aeternum. Branding content into gear scores requires us to carefully consider the accessibility of powerful equipment within each band. While the current strongest gear will no longer be at the top when the Hive of Gorgons releases, they're by no means less powerful against any of the existing content. We try to avoid changing in-game loot since receiving each piece is an achievement in and of itself. Our philosophy isn't changing too much, but we plan to keep giving players new heights to achieve in the future. We look forward to seeing players react to the Hive of Gorgons when it releases on October 15th alongside New World Aeternum. Check out our other major updates coming in the Season of Opportunity. Thanks for your support, and we will see you in Aeternum. So this is basically saying that once we all complete the raid, right? Once we complete the Hive of Gorgons raid, that's going to give us the current max item cap, which is 725, and then once they release new content for raids, PvP, whatever it's going to be, they're going to basically increase it. So if I had to guess, it would probably be somewhere around 800. A couple of key things that I really liked about this whole article that Amazon Game Studio released is the right here. Where was it? Right here. The main differences between our original design document and the final version were iterative than sweeping changes. Our feature, we added teleporting players who join late to the most recent boss. Immediately making progress is far more fun than running through cleared sections. I think that's huge. I think a lot more MMORPGs need to take note of this instead of having you run through the entirety of the dungeon. And then half the time, by the time you get there, especially if you're playing with seasoned veterans that's been playing for a while, they've already cleared, and it just kind of leaves you halfway there, and you got to run through the whole thing just to get to the teleporter that gets you out of there. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. Really looking forward to leveling up and taking this on. I know there's going to be a lot of people able to get to it on the legacy servers already. They're probably going to be day one clearing it, or day one attempting to clear it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to grinding and getting to the point of being able to do this. I know my son and my cousin for sure is going to be playing with us DPS. My cousin's going to be a healer. He's really looking forward. He's kind of torn on where he's going to buy it, whether he's going to buy it on PC or Xbox. He tends to be around his Xbox a lot more, but we'll have to see which one he plays on. But yeah, with that, y'all, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.